Good evening. I'm going to show you how to do some sunflowers and some leaves on a very large planter. It's probably about 18 inches tall and 18 inches wide. I threw it on the wheel and then turned it so it was about 2 to 3 bags of clay. And then when I turned it, I obviously got rid of loads of it. It's a commission for a tree for somebody that's passed away to go in their garden. So what I'm doing is I'm doing sort of stroke work and brush work, and I'm blending, and I'm using my colour to clay, and I'm also using quite a few sort of brushes. I'm using this tool here. This is like a textured tool that I've had made for doing the middles, and then using tiles and some round brushes. They're all sable, so I've got a very large one that I've just given myself, which was £90. It's a chroma colour, beautiful brush. I thought I'll never sell it, so I'll just have it myself. And then the other two are chroma colour as well. It's Kolinsky Sable, and so it does beautiful stroke work. A soft stroke work, which is what I wanted, and there's a liner, and then there's like it's kind of what do they call it? It's a nocturne brush by Royal. It's half inch, and I use that for shading, and then I've got my own square shader somewhere, yeah, out of my brush set, large square shader, and a very large, well, it is an art brush, but it's very large, and a sgraffito tool to finish off with, and so that's what I've done. So I will crack on. So you can just see I've done a little bit. That's taken me a couple of hours probably. I'm just doing it freehand, and underneath, I don't know if you can see them, these are called, it's an Octo Easel, and it's just basically, I've got to be really careful I don't drop the pot. It's it looks like an octopus, and it's just got a pattern out looking like an octopus and full of rice. And then you can tip the 3 of them here, because I've got 8 in the studio. You can tip your pot and it holds it in place. So it's a very useful little thing, and it's just something that you make at home. Anyway, cheers, I'm having a gin and tonic. So I'm not going to film this all the way through, because it would be great if I could get somebody to edit it, but as it's going to take hours and hours and hours, there is nobody who's got hours and hours and hours of time to edit. So I'm just going to put a big sunflower and a few, oh gosh, I can't even pick it up, a few leaves. It's stoneware, so it's frost proof as well. Right, so I'm going to pack it up now so it doesn't move, hopefully. Put a bit of easel. You can just bend the easel in any direction, then sort of wedge it. I did try putting it on a turntable, but it just didn't hold it. So it was an IKEA great big thing, but it just didn't work. Anyway, can you see that? Just, no, maybe not. It's the most complicated thing to actually work on, because it's just so large. Right, so I'm going to start with the middle. So I'm going to load this square shader and just do a soft terracotta middle. And I'm going to load that terracotta with a bit of dark brown. I'm just going to put, I've got to leave a space because it's having a big, it's having a memorial verse on it, which Liz is going to do because she's got nice handwriting. So I'm just going to do like a circle, my square shader, and make it not too smooth a circle. So that's the middle of the sunflower as a guide. Just put that in, and then I'm going to get the biggest. You need to use the biggest round brush that you've got if you're working on something like this. This is a number 16 sable brush. Wash in my dirty water. Take out the liquid, and then start with the back petals. So I'm using my satsuma orange, canary yellow, and I'm mixing the 2 together to make another colour as well. So I've got like 3 shades. So I'm going to start with the yellow, pick up lots of yellow, and the brush, because it's sable, pick up and hold a lot of paint. And then you can't actually, I don't know if you can actually see, because I can't see what I'm doing either. Is that in the camera? No, yes. I'm going to just side load a little bit of orange onto that, and then I'm just going to tap it out onto a blank tile to soften it. So I start with a petal going from the middle and out. So I'm going to push it in and wave it a little bit. Push and wave it a little bit to a point, and hopefully it streaks a bit. You can see it streaks a bit. Then load up again, a little bit of orange, tap it out on the tile, and do another one. So just push in them in, and where I've coiled that bit on the top, it's hard to work on, but I'm going to go over the top and push it in. Take it over the top and load again. So it's tip, pressure on and off as you go, and another petal on and off as you go, bring it to a point. And you need to use quite a strong paint to do this. Now I'm going to have to stand up because I can't turn the pot, it's too heavy. So pressure on and off to a point, on and off to a point. I think you can see that. Load with the yellow again, bit of orange. I could put one down here, push it on and off to a point, push down and wave it to a point. Push it on and off to a point again. I need to leave quite a big gap for the verse. And then again, on and off. It's quite hard to do when it's in this angle as well, and I have had a couple of runs, so I don't thin the paint at all. Let's try and give it a little shove. Push it on and off to a point, to a point. One more to a point. So that's like the back petals done, and then you carry on working on it. But I'll do a leaf first. So for a leaf, I'm going to have a spring green, full strength, and then side load with laurel green. It's like a holly colour, and then blend it on the tile. I'm not sure what you're seeing because I can't see for the pot, but anyway. So blend, put it on the edge and blend it a bit up and down. Make sure you've got plenty of paint. This is a man-made brush, it's not going to hold loads of paint. And then again, I'm not trying to make it not too stroke like. So I'm going to put one here. So just kind of push down and wave it a little bit. Bring it to off. And then, oh, it's like having an argument with, in a pot, it's so big. And the other side, bring it in, like that. And then do another one somewhere, blend it a bit. I'll have one down here. I've actually base coated this white first because it's stoneware and it fires cream, and I thought that the sunflowers look better and brighter if they were on a white background. Although the chap did fancy the blue because he's seen this picture that I've done on my canvas, which is done in chroma colour. But I said to do the background blue would just take so long, and I declined. I'd like to do it, but it's just all a bit of a risk because it's so big. So bring that down. There we go. To a point. There we go. Right, so that's just a couple of leaves, and then I'll put a stem. So we'll use, doesn't really matter what brush, just bring in a greeny browny stem. So I'll load with a a bit of a mix of the two greens and put a tiny bit of brown on the brush and just bring down, so it's coming from somewhere. Got two shades. There we go. So it's got a stem. Well, let's have another stem somewhere for some other leaves. So I have one coming out of here. Just a couple of shades of green and brown on that stem. And then you start to work on this some more. So you go to a smaller round brush, or you don't put as much pressure on. I think that's what I'll do. I just don't put as much pressure on, and use a little bit more orange and do some centre petals. So this is just be a single stroke. So load with the yellow, side load with a bit of orange, and then just work smaller petals. So tip and press it on and give it a little wiggle and take it off. Going over these other petals, like that. And then we do the shading later. Swivel the chair around a bit and do it. Pressure, so tip, pressure on and pressure off. So tip the brush in orange, tip, pressure on and pressure off. Ooh. Pressure on and pressure off. It's a lot easier if you have a decent brush. Pressure on and pressure off. You get lovely nice strokes. Now at the moment it's not looking finished or tidy, so now we start to work on them. So to do the leaves, I do a float stroke. So put a little bit of water in the brush and it's clean, and then side load with just this dark green. Work it in the brush a bit. Now, you've got to be quite quick to do this. So what you do is you go with the dark to the centre of the leaf and just pull it up through the leaf like that to the top, and then very quickly before it's dry pull it out. Can you see? I'm saying can you see as if you're going to answer me. Oh gosh, how am I going to do this? Pull this round. Have to go up, have to here, do it this way. So pull it in like that, up the other side with the dark, and again before it's dry pull it out. Pull it out so it softens that middle, so it's not a hard line. And then the same with the other side. I'm just going to swirl the brush because it might have travelled too far. Get my green, have a slurp of my gin and tonic, and come around to this one here. Oh. See if I can tip it up a bit. I'll be praying on this one that it survives the kiln. I don't think I'm going to show anybody it until it's done because it'll be bad luck. So again, down the middle like that to the top, and then quickly before it's dry pull it out. Then same again. Down the middle again, and then before it's dry pull it out. You can sort of see that. Okay, then I'm going to work a bit on the sunflower now. So sunflower is nearly dry, so I'm going to get this big brush here. This is the Nocturne brush. We do have those in the shop. They're fantastic for shading. So I'm going to load this with water and then just put a tip of the brush in the brown, and the water's still there, and I'm going to tap the middle. So I'm going to have this brown into the center and just tap, and you can see it's kind of going to bleed, and it makes the center sort of pop. Just keep tapping, tap, 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 tap. Let that sort of get nice and frizzy. There we go. And then I'm going to take this little fella here, this unusual textured brush that I sponge thing that I had made, and tap in the middle. Like that. Put a little bit of green. And that sort of creates the middle. And then that's got to dry a little bit to sgraffito. Probably does need a little bit more work on it, I think. I'm not sure if I've done it. It's quite as dark as them other ones. It's hard to say. But anyway, I'll start to sgraffito to show what I mean by sgraffitoing it out. So this is a sgraffito tool. Some people call it a scratch and dust tool, but it is actually sgraffito, which means to carve through colour. So I'm going to go all the way to the top, and you have to do it when it's dry, because sorry, when it's just dry but not wet, because if you do it when it's wet, all these crumbs will just stick back down onto the pot. Okay, and then I'm going to scratch some little sort of highlights into it where I would think the light would hit the top of the leaf. I can't do the flower yet because it's not dry. Just scratching that away. That's a good thing about having the white on the background first. Right, so now I can just do some sgraffito on the flower to create some highs and lows. So just a few little scratches into the flower, trying to go with the petals. It sort of gives it a little bit more life. And you see, pulling it up. And I do like to actually put some petals over the middle, but it's still wet. I want to blow, but this has got the duster on the end for you not to blow. Just can see it just gives, I don't know if you can see, because the light is so bright in this room. It's got daylight lamps. So I'll do this leaf here. Oh, pack the old Octo Easels down. So I'm going to pull the middle down and then swing it round to make the leaf look kind of as if it's round, as if it's going in the middle, which is what that does there. And scratch a bit more away from here. Do a few little scratches in the stem. Some down here. So it's sgraffitoes quite easily because it's clay paint, and also because it was base coated in white. I actually used just about a whole 8-ounce bottle. I put 4 coats because I wanted a very smooth surface to work on. And it had a couple of little hairline fractures in it, which it has filled, and hopefully I'm going to blow. Hopefully, is that dry? Not quite. See if we can just dry it with a bit of tissue so I can crack on. And then I'll show you how to do a bud, and then that'll be it. Because okay, so I'm going to sgraffito a little bit of the middle out to this little bit. There goes that. Still a bit damp. You'll put in the comments what you'd like to see next, and do subscribe if you haven't already, and take a look at Rachel Bias ceramics website where you'll see things for sale, and probably this commission will be in there just because I've got a section in the shop that says past commissions. Why do I never get anything normal? Never get any normal commissions. This has been a nightmare. I've actually made 2 pots which both cracked in drying because they're so big, and then we fixed them, and they do seem to be fixed. So dare I say, who knows what will happen. Right, I'm going to make this stem here a bud. So if you're going to do a bud, you need the smaller of the rounds. So just swirling that not very clean water, and I'm going to load with the yellow, a little bit more yellow, load with the yellow and tip with the orange, and just do some you can't see that, so get around a bit. Oh, it's very bright. Right, so just pressure on and pressure off to a point, pressure on and pressure off to a point, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off. And then you do the same as that, but in green over the top, which is holding in the petals. It's basically like the calyx. So I'm going to load with 2 shades of green and do that. I should really wait for it to dry, but I'm not going to do because I'm trying to crack on. We're on 22 minutes. Here we go. So, oops, too much paint. A bit less paint. Right, so to make this belong, start from the stem and tip, pressure on and pressure off, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off, and then the other way. You go the other way as well, so coming down, pressure on, pressure off. And that's a bud. And then I would sgraffito that, and there'll be some more shading goes on, and hopefully, I don't know why that's that camera, it's gone now. Hopefully I'll get this finished in the next day or so, and get it glazed in a stoneware firing. I don't know how the heck I'm going to glaze it. Probably I'll have to get a paddling pool, I think, and pour it over because it's so big. But I hope you've enjoyed that, and you'll have a little go. So there we go. There's the ones we've just done, and there's the one I've done earlier. So anyway, do subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.